And it's Ken Kraetzer for cbsiServices, talking business from our corporate headquarters in Harrison, New York. And we have a chance to visit with our colleague, Jack Hojnar, from our Chicago office. And today, Jack, always good to see you. How's the year starting off for you?
Really well. How are you doing? Everything's good?
That's good to hear. And Jack, you wrote a very interesting blog piece, which is up on our cbsiServices website, entitled World of Benefits 2020. Of course, CBSI is a leader in providing benefits to the credit card industry across a couple of areas: travel, merchandise protection. And so you talked in your blog about impact of FinTech. So many startups in the U.S., 6,000 in recent years, and then this new area of insurance tech. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you see happening in FinTech and insurance tech?
Well, sure. FinTech has been around for a while. In fact, anecdotally, there's been several conferences. Money 2020 is a huge one. 20,000 people, I want to say, were there. Maybe I'm overestimating. And then not too far away was a conference called InsurTech. Less attractive right now. It just doesn't have quite the sexiness that you see with FinTech because there's so many organizations trying to figure out a way to work on everything from ACH to improved customer service, different ways to do banking. Whereas on the InsurTech side, they're still trying to navigate their way through some of those things. But over the last few years, InsurTech companies have started to come back on the rise.
Very good. And one of the areas that you developed is a nice approach named Challenger Banks. The organizations that are big players such as Google, Apple, and Amazon, getting into banking, trying to get in on the lending side, financing the transaction. What do you see in this concept of Challenger Banks?
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's a concept that when I was doing my reading and research for projections for this year, found out that it's something that started actually in England, that concept. And when you take a look at what Apple did recently with their Apple Card, while they're really similar to a co-brand in the days that maybe we recall when Sears decided to leave their own card and create a co-brand card, Apple did the same thing for the most part right now. The difference is they partnered with a financial institution that typically isn't in the retail banking space, in Goldman Sachs. And so it's just the beginning of these organizations like Apple, Google, and others are trying to bring the financial service aspects to their technology. A lot of it is because there's so much data and information that they can gather from their customers as well.
Very good. And one of the topics you wrote about is that card benefits are being appreciated by consumers. They're being identified, and especially in the travel area, in the merchandise protection area. Why are consumers seeing increased value, better recognition of the benefits that are on their credit cards?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of reasons for that. Certainly more consumers are paying attention to the dynamics that are with anything where they spend their money. And so maybe even as short as 5 years ago, they weren't aware of some of these benefits. They're primarily concerned with when do I pay off my bill, what are the fees regarding that, so forth. And the more that the internet, sorry for saying it in such a corny way, but Reddit, social media sites, people started sharing their own experiences and stories. And so that's how the spread of benefits really became a bigger topic, and now it's something that we as an organization are trying to help manage and understand that conversation for people.
And in some cases, institutions are adding or increasing fees. Certainly saw that with the Chase Sapphire program, the value provided on that card. Tell us, why is there increased attention to the fees and in some cases annual fees on credit cards?
Yeah, well, and I can relate that specifically to our world of benefits. We've seen an increase across the board on many banks of increasing their annual fees. And in response to that, we've gone in and used social media analytic tools that we have, and plus our own investigative work. And we've found that while consumers are accepting of the fact that these fee increases incur or happen, they're also asking why. More so, what we're seeing is quite a few customers saying that maybe some of these benefits or perks that you're bringing me, we understand they cost money, but they may not be the same perk I wanted. So if you're going to increase my fee, consider allowing me to pick and choose some of those things. That's what I think is going to be the next big step this year, is as these fee increases increase or occur more frequently, we're going to see more banks consider taking that annual fee and allowing people choice of how they want to have their bank benefits created.
And this year has certainly been a year where artificial intelligence, AI, has been talked about, but also implemented in a lot of ways to try to provide a better customer experience, to provide assistance to agents, to let agents in some cases handle the most difficult customer service issues that come up from customers. What are some of the areas that you see artificial intelligence being successfully applied in our space in banking?
Sure. We still see it being applied in the customer service side of things. You'll see the automation and the expectation of what customers may need depending upon some prompts. We also see it in terms of how consumers. What's interesting, and it's related to challenger banks and a whole new evolution of how banks are reacting, but they're using artificial intelligence to help not only predict when something may occur. We know that in some of our cyber protection services, right? Like if you see the frequency of a certain type of purchase, we recognize that a system kicks in and tells you there may be something going on here that's not good. On the positive side of things, a lot of consumers are asking for banks to help them manage their money. An example you've heard me talk about before, artificial intelligence can be applied to how someone wants to attain certain goals. And so you may have $1,000 that you want to spend, and you want the bank to apportion that money in certain ways, near-term trips, long-term investments. Artificial intelligence is going to help that out as well.
Very good, and certainly one of the areas everyone's been looking at is as the California privacy bill, which went into effect January 1st, requiring certain measures be taken by online marketers in California, those who conduct online commerce, and so everyone's looking at to see what will be some of the enforcements, and some of the regulations haven't fully been released by the state of California, but everybody's looking at it because there is no national standard, but what may evolve could come from what California has just implemented. What do you say?
Similarly to everything we've been talking about, I think the security piece is the next big part. You and I, in fact, earlier this morning, were talking about how news broke that at one of the summits in Europe, I forget which one exactly now, but the Apples, Googles, etc., actually want regulation. They're looking to have some structure put in place. So how the California Act rolls out, how these other regulatory things occur are going to be interesting. One thing that I noticed in the research, and it's mentioned in the blog, is the fact that cyber managing general agents are now getting created to address all of these types of things that are taking place. Huge issue for 2020 for sure.
Well, certainly with the European standard, and I guess what the large major companies are looking for is a national standard, so that they're not dealing with individual standards. There are about 5 or 6 other states that are looking at privacy. Jack, great to talk. Any other? What's another key thing you're looking forward to seeing happen or expect to happen in our new business year?
You know, on two fronts. On a national front, I was intrigued by blockchain about 4 years ago, was caught up in it personally, trying to figure out how it would work, and I think so were a lot of other people. And it kind of sat for a while. There seems to be a little bit of resurgence in it, so I'm going to be curious. I'm personally going to be keeping an eye on blockchain and how that relates to contracts, integration, and things like that. On our end, I'm pretty excited about some of the new benefit tools that we're creating for some of our partners. So we've got some new technology pieces in place, and I'm looking forward to seeing how we can maybe help some of our clients utilize some technology we're creating.
Okay, Jack Hojnar from our Chicago office, our colleague here at cbsiServices. Great to chat, and look forward to a very interesting and productive year. And so, from our corporate headquarters here in Harrison, New York, for cbsiServices, talking business, this is Ken Kraetzer.